All right, hey everybody. I'm your host, the digital asset guy, and I'm here with one of my heroes, the one and only James Rule XRP. How you doing, James?
Man, thanks for having me. I'm doing awesome. I love doing these interviews and just, meeting with the public and just having a good time and just telling our stories. That's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. That is so awesome. So we were at XRP Las Vegas this year at 2025 in May, but we did not get to meet just because there were so many of us walking around. It was like almost overwhelming, but we'll get it next year. But I wanted to get you on here, and I've always wanted to interview you, and I'm glad we got connected on X. And so yeah, I just got some questions for you. I want to, want to get my viewers familiar with you and hear part of your story, maybe some of what you do and your thoughts on the space in general as part of the XRP family.
Absolutely. I mean, hit me with whatever you want. Like I said, I consider myself a crypto teacher for the past 5 years. I'm not a financial advisor. I got into crypto back in 2017. I didn't know what I was doing. I was self-taught. So luckily, I'm able to now teach the crypto teachers, and it's wonderful. I love what I'm doing.
All right. So how about if we start? Let's start at the very, very beginning. When did you first hear about crypto?
Well, honestly, I heard about Bitcoin as soon as it came out, and I was like, all the skeptics back then, all this digital money, it'll never amount to anything, and all this good stuff. And then back in 2017, I was working in the oil fields of West Texas, and I had a bunch of time sitting in a truck monitoring lease equipment, and I saw Bitcoin, and I said, you know what? I have all these 401ks. I'm investing in stocks and 401k plans. And I saw Bitcoin, and I said, well, you know what? Mid 2017, let's invest in a little bit of Bitcoin. So a couple of months went by and I had time to go in and do some more research and I found XRP. So right before this massive 2017, 2018 bull run, I flipped my Bitcoin into XRP and pretty much rode that bull run all the way up and rode it back down and bought a little bit more and bought a little bit more and bought a little bit more. But man, it's just been an amazing journey because after XRP, I started researching all of these other amazing ecosystems. I started learning about, I mean, there's so many rabbit holes that you can jump into. It's just been an amazing journey. I was working at a refinery here in Southeast Texas in 2020. And whenever COVID came, I was the last one in, the first one out. So I got laid off. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to create a YouTube channel. I watched Digital Asset Investor and all others. And I said, I could do this. So I bought a cheap 13-inch MacBook computer. I had the computers. If you go back to the James Rule Crypto show and watch my first videos, you're going to see pretty much how cheesy the videos were. We all had to start somewhere, but it was cheese to the max. But XRP was like 18 cents. So I love going back and watching 5 years ago, and I was excited about an 18-cent XRP. The market cap was like 180 billion, and now we're looking at a $4 trillion market cap.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited that just in a 5 year period, we've experienced, the lawsuits, we've experienced the governments, we've fought through it. We all came together as a community. And now we're winning because the governments, the president, everybody else is starting to see the benefits of this blockchain technology. So that kind of starts it off where I began. And I mean, there's so much more we could talk about, but that's where I started.
Well, that's funny to hear you talk about your first videos. That's kind of where I'm at with my channel. And I'm trying to find my style. I like to go on walks after dinner every night. So I started using a selfie stick and just talking and getting my thoughts out and things. Maybe I'll look back and feel that same way, like you're
All
just.
you have to do, and I'll tell you, anybody out there that's wanting to create a channel, as long as you're honest with yourself and you're honest with the community and you don't make up stuff and you don't try to be somebody else, you're going to be perfect. It may take a while to get your feet planted, but once the community starts to understand who you are, how you talk, how you present yourself, they're gonna, get closer to you as that happens. So,
Yeah, awesome.
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll kind of dive into your story and your philosophies and everything. How about if you go ahead and summarize what you do now, like a day in the life of James Rowe XRP? We'll jump there for a minute.
Sure. So for the past 3 years, I've worked at a Lowe's home improvement store for the insurance. I had to have good insurance and everything. And I worked in receiving. I drove the forklift. I love drive. I may just buy a forklift so I could drive it out here in the country because I miss the forklift and I do miss the coworkers. But I worked at Lowe's and we went through all this crazy stuff with XRP and the governments and everything. And 4 months ago, by the grace of God, I was able to retire because back in 2020, I made a financial decision to put everything I had into digital assets, including XRP. And over the past 5 years, I mean, I'm not going to tell you how much I have or how much I've made, but in a 5 year period, being patient, as well as other members of this community around the world that I met at XRP Las Vegas, it gave me a hug. It almost broke my ribs, but they did the same thing. The guy from Scotland, real nice guy. You probably met him.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah. I
gave me a
remember.
big hug. Goes, James, man, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here today. And just the emotions, just knowing that you took that path less traveled, that you decided to do something else that the rest of the world wasn't willing to do. I have friends and family and ex coworkers that are calling me up every day now that XRP is $3 and going, I remember when it was five for a dollar. I remember that Kmart blue light special. Where do I get a $3 XRP? Is it too late to get in? But so I created my YouTube channel. I created my Twitter/X account, my socials. I built a relationship. I was actually in a partnership October of 2020 with an individual. I'm not going to mention names, but in the partnership, I was solely paid in XRP as a salary. So I made a monthly salary in XRP. I used a MasterCard XRP enabled MasterCard to pay for my bills, to pay for dinner, to pay for groceries, to pay for YouTube tips for pretty much everything. And I guess you could call me the XRP pizza guy. That's what everybody called me. But because of that, because of this lawsuit, the SEC and Ripple lawsuit, I built a relationship with John Deaton. John Deaton is the GOAT. He came out of the woodwork. He saw this lawsuit. He said, no, this is not right. Thousands of people are being affected by this lawsuit. Billions of dollars are being lost. So I submitted some affidavits, like 6 affidavits to the court via John Deaton, and proof that XRP is used as a currency and never was a security kind of a little bit of it helped us win this lawsuit. And I'm just honored to be a part of this. I'm honored to experience this blockchain technology to be able to send XRP in seconds to individuals around the world, to family members, and, just to teach the crypto teachers, not only about crypto and blockchain, but also about the scams. A week and a half ago, my X account, being a crypto teacher, talking about the scams every day, my X account I got scammed. Somebody took over my X account because I clicked on a link because someone sent me a message on X and I thought that they were the legit person because I'd interviewed this person several times and they wanted me to be a co-host on their show. And when I downloaded the software, it took over my computer, but we could talk about more about that later. But yeah, now that I'm retired, I have the opportunity, and really since I retired, I feel that I'm working more now because I'm jumping in more of those rabbit holes. I'm teaching more locally. I'm running into people everywhere. I had some business cards made. My license plates now say XRP for me on my new Ford Trimmer. I bought a new
I love it.
Ford Trimmer with XRP. I bought my Polaris Ranger back in November with XRP, and people are saying, "You're stupid, man. You spent all you're going to be the pizza guy." I'm like, well, I've been in this 7 years. I've experienced the crud that the entire community has experienced, and I've had the determination to hold on because I knew that better things were coming for all of us. And that's what it's all about. The trick to crypto, I'm not a day trader, I'm not a chart guy, but the trick is to hold on. Let the rest of the world catch up to this technology, just like the internet. Back in the 90s, I'm an OG, I'm 58 years old. So I experienced my first email, I experienced my first text message, I experienced 2400, 14.4, 56K modems that were slow, and then digital. And then now we have the internet of value, which you can move assets in seconds around the world, just like you can send a text message or email. So,
So
yeah, it's there's so many rabbit holes that I jump in every day, and I continue to teach the kindergartners because there's so many people coming into this space on a daily basis. And if you're new to crypto, there's no such thing as a stupid question. There's no such thing because we were all there at one time. And any basic question I can answer, any technical question, if I don't know the answer, I'll direct you to the right source or whatever. So let me take a breath. That pretty much sums that part up. So
yeah, well, that's all awesome. I'll tell you, there's just I was interviewed by someone the other day who I met at XRP Las Vegas, and there's so much that we want to tell because for some of us, it's been a lonely road, before
yes.
we kind of got connected. I mean, we're on X. My X account actually got suspended. I had been talking with you, just randomly suspended right after XRP Vegas. No warning, no nothing. I think it had something to do with the YouTube video that I posted, but it still didn't break the rules. But anyway, it's been a lonely road. So it's like when you're interviewed or you're talking to another XRP family member, you just have so much to talk about. Let's get into some of the really important stuff that we need to alert people about. Let's talk about the scams and things because I myself, as a crypto teacher in my city, I have witnessed some really, really shocking, horrific things of people getting scammed, people who I thought knew better, and it's anyway, what's your experience with scams?
Okay, so that is one of my priorities on my channel. I have a YouTube channel, the James Rule Crypto Show, and at least every other or every third video, I show you a screenshot of a email I received from a fake ledger account. Click on this link to validate your recovery phrases. And if you haven't self-custodied crypto, this is something that is very important because you currently buy cryptocurrency on an exchange and it's sitting there. And when you self custody, it means that you have total responsibility. You send the crypto to your personal wallets, whether it be Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or whatever. But what happens is when you create these wallets on the blockchain, you're going to have a set of recovery phrases or recovery seed words that you write down on a piece of paper. It might be 12 words, it might be 24 words. And what happens is that you write these words down and you lock them up in a safe. You don't touch them, you don't share them with anybody. So, what's been happening, and in the 5 years that I've had my channel on Twitter/X, thousands of people have sent me messages. James, I got scammed. Somebody stole my crypto. So I asked them, I go, well, tell me what happened. Well, I got an email from Coinbase. I got an email from Ledger Wallet. I got an email from such and such. And when I clicked on the official page, they asked me to connect my wallet. I connected my wallet. I validated the recovery phrases. No. Whenever you share the keys to your castle, the individual on the other side of that web page is going to take those 12 words or those 24 words and they are going to duplicate your wallets on the blockchain. Then they're going to take your XRP, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Doge, whatever, and they're going to send it to a centralized exchange. They're going to liquidate it, they're going to cash it out, and there's nothing you can do about it because crypto, and don't get intimidated. Believe me, if you're new to crypto, and you don't feel good at self-custodying right now, leave it on the exchange. I don't recommend leaving a lot of money on a centralized exchange, but if you are uncomfortable with setting up wallets or whatever, leave it there until you learn, until you watch me, until you watch Digital Asset Guy and learn more about the specifics and the details. Because here in the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to see a massive growth in the crypto industry. We're going to see banks, we're going to see institutions, we're going to see people come out of the woodwork that have never heard of crypto and 401ks. I mean, here Trump mentioned that if you have a 401k in the United States, you're going to be able to put some of that money in digital assets. And I think that is flipping awesome because I didn't have that option, you know? So,
I
yeah.
I was actually invited on my local news to
Wow.
weigh in on that, and the anchor said she said, "What do you think this means?" And I said, "Well, for simple math, there's anywhere from like 8 to 12 trillion, whatever, in 401ks. Let's just say there's 10 trillion. Okay. And let's say that the 401k holders ended up, the average one ended up allocating 10% even of their 401k. 10% of 10 trillion is 1 trillion. That's another trillion finding its way into crypto. So that's could translate to a 25% increase there. We all know that the space is probably destined for multi double digit trillions. But anyway, that's just something exciting to think about that just happened.
You know, it's incredible because people that invest in these mysterious cryptos that don't know the underlying technology, like the XRP ledger, the Stellar network, all of these other networks, they're just looking for a dollar sign. And so many people years ago, I knew exactly what I had, saw a five for a dollar XRP, and they thought, nah, I don't want any of that cheap internet money. It's not worth anything. And now that it's $3, I have to keep my phone on the charger 24/7 because coworkers that I used to work with, they're not calling me up, 4 years later going, "Hey James, I just want to see how you been, man." All they do is go, "James, that XT whatever token, it's now $3. Can you tell me where to get it?" And I'm like, "Bless your heart, I told you so." But yeah, seriously.
I know the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went through so much crud the past 5 years. We put up with so much. I can't even explain it in words, but and at the same time, we were talking about scams. I mean, there's so many things that you need to look out for and don't get intimidated. If you're new to crypto, you need to know about the scams. You need to know about just about every email you receive, every text message, every comment on social media, every comment on YouTube. Like even on my channel, there's bots that post, "Hey, I just sold on my XRP. Now I got this XTZ22 token. You need to get some." And there'll be like 20 comments saying the XTZ22 token, and they're all scammers. And I will never send you an instant message on X, Twitter, Facebook. And I want to kind of, briefly tell you about what happened to me and how my X account got scammed. Is that okay? Can I tell you that?
Oh, absolutely. I want to hear it. Yeah.
Okay, so a good friend of mine, good buddy of mine, who created Expector, a metaverse on the blockchain. His name is Dirk. He goes by DS on social media. So I interviewed him when he first got started with his project, and I've interviewed him several times since then. So a couple weeks ago, I received a message, instant message on X, which is formerly Twitter, from DS. He says, "Look, James, I'm having a podcast here pretty soon, and I'd like you to co-host it." And you know me, I'm ready to co-host whatever. So I said, "Sure, let's do this." So the scammer who took over Dirk's account sent me a link to a StreamYard download.
Just 1 second, James.
Sure,
I just got to know, did it have the blue check mark on his account that was still verified? Like,
absolutely.
see, that's like could be maybe what's going on with my account. I just had to ask that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was him, but it wasn't him. It was the people that took over his account. So what has happened is this software that was sent to me, and I should have known this, but I know Dirk, I know Expector, I've interviewed him several times. When I downloaded it and went to install it, the install failed. And I thought, well, this is funny. Why did it fail? So I didn't get any messages back from him, but 2 weeks later, I wake up and I receive an email saying, James, your email has changed on your X account. We're sorry if you can't have access to it. So I tried to open it up and I couldn't get into my X account. And I was like, dang. I was like, here we go. What happened? I don't even know what happened. So come to find out, um, my computer had been taken over. Thank God I didn't lose any crypto. I didn't lose any money from my bank. I didn't lose any money for PayPal or Amazon or whatever. But I had to go through quite a bit in a 4 day period to actually get my account back. I actually got with a member of the community from the UK that knows a lady from X that we actually got on a video conference, and I told her about the issue and how my 200,000 followers are getting these same messages.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting replies back from these comments that the scammer sent, and I'm having to tell the public, look, that wasn't me. I apologize. It was a scammer. If you downloaded the software. Now, if you downloaded the StreamYard software, I'm going to let you know right now that you need to immediately wipe your complete computer clean. Back up whatever documents you have, back up whatever you have, wipe your complete computer clean because when in the 2 week period, the scammers were able to take over my account. Luckily, I was able to clean everything. And it's scary. Believe me, if you're new to crypto and you've never experienced a scam or a phone call or whatever, it's scary. Believe me, as a crypto teacher, I reiterate this every day. And it's so scary to know that these scammers are getting so good at what they do.
Oh yeah.
You get a web page from Ripple saying, "Hey, we're doing an XRP giveaway. This is Brad Garlinghouse. If you send me 10,000 XRP, I'll send you a million XRP back."
Yeah.
And so many people are FOMOing. And if you're new to crypto and you never heard of the acronym FOMO, it means the fear of missing out. So your dad, your mom, your sister, your wife, your husband, whatever, may have more crypto than you have. And you're thinking, well, if I do this, I'm going to have just as many as they do. And at the same time, when you send your crypto, when you send your money to an unknown wallet or person, you're never going to get it back.
That is the truth, man.
Never going to get it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Once it's gone, it's gone. I'll tell you, as a crypto teacher, I've seen my share of people get scammed, and I'll tell you the scariest ones to me. I mean, yeah, I hate the ones like that where it's, send us this much, we'll send it back. But the ones to me that have been even scarier is when they get psychological. I had a really close friend of mine who I've worked with him for years. He knows about cold storage. He knows this stuff. And somehow he got talking with somebody on WhatsApp and they
Mm.
convinced him I'm an active day trader and blah blah blah. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it was kind of like maybe they were like online dating, to be honest. And
Mm.
it just shocked me because
Pig butchering. You could Google pig butchering and you'll know exactly what
yeah.
advice that guy's talking about. I guarantee you. It's horrible.
It was scary, and it was unbelievable. She had him hooked up with a fake Gemini app on his phone, and it looked pretty real. Where for a day or two, I was like watching him log on. So I pulled up Gemini on my MacBook Pro. I said, log in on here. Username invalid, whatever. I said, I hate to tell you, man, but this is not a
Mm.
Gemini account. And the thing that was scary is he just was so like, no, I trust this person. She's been doing this for years. And oh, it was just painful. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. I think there's a lot of different kinds of scams, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, the scammers are getting so good at what they do. Ledger provides cryptocurrency cold wallets. If you're new to crypto and you never heard of Ledger or LE but so what some of these scammers are doing, they're sending physical letters in the mail to individuals that invest in crypto, and it says, "Hey, look, we found out that most of our Ledger wallets have been compromised. Scan this QR code. Please validate your wallet. Please key in the 12 and 24 recovery phrases." I've been on the phone with people in the past 5 years. I'll give my personal phone number to someone that's been scammed because I want to know what happened. I want to know who I can send them to. I want to nip it in the bud. If you've been scammed and you're embarrassed about what happened to you and you're like, man, I can't share this. I feel stupid for what I did. Well, if it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need to scream, people. You need to scream loud because the sooner you get that information out, the sooner these institutions and people that are trying to help you are going to find it and before it hits the exchanges and cash it out. But what I was getting to is I'm a caring person. I have a big heart. I still say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. I'm a God-fearing Texan, and I've always been that way. And I've been on the phone with individuals that have been in tears, and I've been in tears too, just to know that they lost their life savings. And it's horrible. But you know, the joy I get from doing what I do is when I receive a message from someone that says, James, I watched your video a week ago. I got an email, I got a phone call. I thought it was real. And if I wouldn't have watched your video, if I wouldn't have watched this, I would have been taken. So I want to thank you for showing me what you showed you. And if I could help one person, if I could help 12 people a day not get scammed, my heart is full.
I feel you, brother. Yeah, I feel you. Well, that's awesome because yeah, I mean in this space and then just for the viewers out there, we do want to iterate if you keep your private keys safe and you don't ever give them away, they're not on the internet. Okay? And so it's like if you do keep them safe, it's like you cannot be scammed or you cannot be hacked. It's like saying you're going to get attacked by a shark in the mountains or something. It cannot happen. So this is just whenever there's scams, I would say there has to be some type of human error is like the point I'm making. So I don't want people to get afraid thinking crypto can always be hacked because I have people who believe that and they don't really understand private keys. But yeah, this is a level of human error that we're talking about. But anyway, let's switch gears to a more lighthearted topic. What were your favorite memories from XRP Las Vegas in May?
Man, you know what really excited me? This was my first experience at a major XRP conference. And I stayed at the MGM. I attended the conference. But what is really neat and what really got me excited was all the people around the world that knew who I was and was excited to take a selfie with me. And you know what's neat about it? I was just excited to see them and go, oh my God, I finally get to meet you. I'm so excited to do this. So I would be in the elevator at the MGM and I had my lanyard on with the XRP Las Vegas, lanyard. And people in the elevator would be wearing the same thing. And what was neat is I would ask them, I said, look, are y'all going to this XRP conference, man? I've never been to it. Are y'all going? They're like, yeah, we're going, man. It's going to be pretty. I'm like, well, I told you so. And they're like, son of a gun, you are James Rule XRP. I'm like,
Yeah.
shh, don't tell anybody. Shh. And it's so awesome meeting people that just want better for themselves, their families, for future generations, and just an excited group of people from around the world that are learning more. You know, all the people that were interviewed were pretty amazing. I got to meet David Schwartz. I got to meet Brad Garlinghouse. We took selfies. We did all this stuff.
When was that? I was trying so hard to catch him. Was that like early in the morning?
No, it was right before the last speaker on the second day. Brad Garlinghouse was in the lobby by the Ripple booth, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, is that Brad Garlinghouse?
Oh
So
man.
everybody like congregated to Brad Garlinghouse, and then David Schwartz. I forgot what time of day it was. I think day one. He was by the Ripple booth, and I was able to squeeze in. And um, it's just you've been hearing from these people for years, like Digital Asset Investor. He's one of my mentors because I watched him before I created my channel. So what's funny is Digital Asset Investor, there was a line of people waiting to, take selfies and talk to him and everything. And I was just kind of standing on the side drinking my cold beer. And DAI said, hey, James, the OG, do you mind if I have my picture taken with you?
Ah,
And I'm like, absolutely, man. Come on, man. Let's do this. It's just amazing. Some of these influencers, some of these people, they have like rock star status because they made such a big impact on people. And I don't consider myself a rock star, but when I was
I
there,
do.
yeah, I was really overwhelmed with the response of the community coming to me, just wanting to hug me, like the guy from Scotland just about broke my ribs when he hugged me. And I'm just a guy from Texas that pretty much loves people, and I was just blown away at all the positivity and all the positive people that were there.
Well, I think you're a rock star, James. And speaking of rock stars, I thought one of my favorite memories was getting to meet the lead singer, Alice in Chains, at the after party and his wife, and that was pretty cool. It's so
Yeah, he
we were
yeah,
in that room. We didn't happen to meet, but next year.
yeah, he's awesome. I said, man, aren't you the lead singer now of Alice in Chains? And I met him and his good looking girlfriend, whoever she was smoking hot. Believe me. But yeah, man, I mean, just running into people or maybe sitting down at a table at the VIP section and just kind of listening to people talk, and finally I just say, like, I told you so. And they're like, damn it, I'm sitting by James Rule XRP, man. And that's my tagline on every video at the end. I say, I told you so. And some people are like, that's mean. Why are you telling people you told you? Well, because I've been telling them for 7 years and they're finally starting to wake up. And when I say bless your heart, I'm from Texas. So when I say bless your heart, I'm not praising you. I'm just saying, okay, what kind of idiot are you? I'm trying to put that in, I'm trying not to keep it family oriented here, but um yeah, my life has changed and we went through so much. I went through relationships. I don't have any children. I've been married twice, divorced twice, but I went through relationships. I went through the family calling me crazy. When I went all in on XRP in 2020, my family thought I was nuts. They're like, only put 20% in. You may go to zero. And I just as well as yourself took that path less traveled and pretty much went all in on crypto. I consider myself today cash poor. I have maybe 3% of my entire holdings in cash for emergencies, for bills, for all the stupid stuff we pay for every week or every month. And then the rest of it is in digital assets because I made a smart decision because I went where other people were not willing to go for years, and they're finally coming out of the woodwork and ask me, "Well, how can I do this?" And I'm like, "Well, now you come around, I'll be glad to show you."
Yeah. Yeah, James, that hits really close to home with me too, and it's cool to talk about this stuff with one of my heroes. I literally cannot believe it, but we've almost been here about an hour. I like to keep these interviews to an hour. So, but we got maybe about 5 minutes left. What would you say? So in crypto, it's kind of hard to get away from it. People always want to know predictions and things. What could you just give us maybe some of your predictions, what you think is going to happen with XRP, with Ripple, with the crypto space in general, maybe with the
People,
legislation?
people are gonna say, "Why did you say that, James?" No, honestly, with everything that's going on in the world today, with the U.S. administration, with these XRP ETFs are fixing to go BS crazy, and I'm not bat, what crazy. And I'm predicting I'm getting it out to the universe because I believe in the laws of attraction. I've practiced the laws of attraction for 20 years. If I meet people that are negative, I push them away. If, ex-coworkers that were negative, I would ignore them because I don't need negative in my life. You get one bad apple in the bushel and the whole bushel is going to go bad. So I'm just projecting. I'm getting it out to the universe. I'm looking past the trees, the horses, the cows that are out here in the pasture right beside me. And I'm wanting to say by Christmas 2025, we're looking at, and this is just estimation. I'm not a chart guy. Let's look at a $10 XRP by Christmas.
I could see
And
that.
that's being conservative. I mean, anything is possible. Over the past 5 to 7 years that I've been in this, I've seen some amazing things happen that I never thought would happen. So let's shoot for $10 by Christmas.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
there with you. I think it's totally possible. I mean, I heard some kind of interesting things at XRP Vegas at some of the after parties with people who would know who, are saying, yeah, if the chart analysts say this, but there's things they don't know about too that are coming. So we never know, but I think it's such exciting times right now. And, it's just so cool to have a XRP family to chat with like this and go through it all. I've enjoyed every minute of this or every second of this, James. Can't believe that hour went like 10 minutes. Like we got to jump
It's
on.
incredible. It's crazy, man. I could talk all day with you, but there's so many things going on behind closed doors right now with all these blockchain companies and with the BlackRocks and all the major financial institutions. I have just a feeling that so many people are going to freak out before the end of this year. If you're just now getting into crypto, if you've been in it for a while, you're going to look at your portfolio and you're going to freak out here in the next several months. And believe me, I freaked out. I went all in 2020 and I never dreamt in a million years that I would be able to retire at 58 years old. And I was because I decided to do something that the rest of the world was not willing to do. And here we are.
Wow. I love it, James. That's inspiring to me. Oh man. Well, I really just have loved every second of this. We'll have to jump on and do another one sometime, and maybe we get some other XRP family on here and do like half four or five of us or something. There's so many.
Absolutely. I'm game. Let's do it. Let's get
Yeah,
them.
all right, we will. Cool. Well, I hate to jump off here, but I like to keep these about an hour. But thank you so much for all that you've done that's inspired me and the community. And if I don't see you before XRP Vegas 26, which real quick, have you heard about any of when they announced the date or anything? I've been
I
looking.
have not. I have not, honestly. I don't know when it's going to happen. I know Swell is coming up in New York in November. I know there's other events taking place, but I haven't heard of any I haven't heard about XRP Las Vegas 26 yet.
Well, we're going to hang at that if we don't hang sooner, maybe at one of the meetups this winter. So, well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll be talking to you soon, James.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me get the word out. The topics we talked about, I think, are beneficial to the public, not only for the OGs, but for all the newbies coming out. Don't get distracted. Do your research. When you buy crypto, hold on to it. Don't trust anyone. And I'll never send you an instant message on social media. And don't forget, I told you so.
The Randy Travis song. All right, thanks so much, James. I'll talk with you soon.
You bet.